All right, it is here, game week. Wow, feels incredible right now. And every Monday at noon, following the Urban Meyer press conference over at Ohio State, we will begin Spielman on Sports. It was so big, we had it segmented last year. We're going to do an entire robust hour. Now, Spiels, I know you're feeling good. You're wearing the black. You look tough today. And I wanted to tell you that. So Ohio State's opening against Buffalo, and, I kind of pay attention to the lines and that sort of thing. I think it's fate that we begin this show knowing that Ohio State is favored by 36 on Saturday.
Well,
little fate there for you.
I hope they win by 36 because that's going to set the precedent for this team as the year goes on. And what Urban said at the end about being clean, when they started the year last year, the one thing we did not see was a clean football team, especially fundamental-wise. Braxton wasn't sharp. Tackling was atrocious. The blocking wasn't consistent. The offensive line wasn't working as a unit. And yet they had good enough players where they were able to go 12-0. Well, he knows that he can't have a team play like they did last year and expect to run a table this year. And I know for a fact, just spending a little bit of time over there, that fundamentals were a big topic being addressed throughout the year. And the thing that I expect to see improved much from last year, especially from two guys, probably the two best hitters on the football team, Ryan Shazier and Christian Bryant. Those two guys are going to be better tacklers this year. If you recall, Anthony, last year they missed a lot of tackles. And so I expect to see a stronger football team that comes out fast and sets a tone and sends a message for the rest of the Big Ten and maybe the nation.
As the hour goes along, we'll kind of break down this team where you see the question marks and everything. Anthony Rothman, Chris Spielman. Spielman on Sports every Monday from noon to 1 here on 97.1 The Fan. I was reading through the game notes, and I'll kind of take you back in time because really the opener is such a given, Chris. It's almost like a glorified scrimmage in the fact that you get to hit other people, and that's great, and you get to see a little bit about yourselves, and you're in the stadium, and you're wearing it, and everything counts. But I was looking back, the Ohio State is 32-2 in the last 34 season openers. Now, both of those 0-1 starts took place in the Kickoff Classic at Giants Stadium.
Yeah, against
1999
Alabama.
Against Miami and 86 against Bama. You remember that game?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that game. It was a great football game, and it came down to the end. Derek Thomas jumped off sides, I think, 3 times where we had shots at the end zone, and unfortunately we weren't able to convert. But it was a good game. Then the following week we go out to Washington and get beat by Washington. So we start the season 0-2. Then that's the year we ran.
You were a 10-win football team that year, weren't you?
Yeah, that's the year we ran and went 10 in a row, and then ended up beating Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl.
This is not Alabama. This is Buffalo. And I guess my point is that when you look at this Ohio State schedule, and that's what they've kind of been lined a little bit about, is the schedule. Is it tough enough? Is it good enough? Is it what they need? And I guess if you're Urban Meyer right now and you're looking at your football team for the first few games, what is it that you're hoping for? What is it that you need out of these first 3 that you really can't simulate with a great opponent?
You want to see execution on the offensive side of the ball. They want to operate at a little bit of a tempo. I heard Coach Herman talk about this, that they want to be able to control the tempo. So when they want to speed it up and go to high pace, they speed it up and go to high pace, but they do that with efficiency where they're not stumbling and bumbling all over the place. The other thing you want to see is I want to see a better Braxton Miller. And a lot of people are out there, what are you talking about? A clean Braxton Miller, his footwork, the decision-making. And Urban made a point throughout the press conference, and I thought this was interesting. He said that Braxton Miller has become a much better scrambler, much improved scrambler. Now, to me, that's where he can hurt teams the most. Not necessarily on called quarterback runs, because you recall a lot of his big plays last year, Anthony, he made a guy miss. I mean, there were on-block players, and he made that guy miss. Then, of course, he has his great ability to get downfield and great speed to finish the run. But when quarterbacks are most dangerous, and I just had a conversation with Gene Chizik about this about 2 weeks ago, they're most dangerous when they can see and turn a throwing lane into a running lane. And if Braxton can do that this year, put so much more pressure on defenses that his numbers as far as rushing goes should go up. Now, I know they don't want him to be the leading rusher, but they're not going to complain if he's the leading rusher if he has 1,200 yards on the ground.
No doubt. And I'm wondering whether or not, and Urban kind of talked about this or hinted at it, that he doesn't want really Braxton Miller to be this leading rusher. He talked about Jordan Hall a lot in the press conference about how he's earned the fact that he now is the starting running back. any fear that Carlos Hyde doesn't immediately get his job? If you're Carlos Hyde right now, do you feel like when my suspension's over, I'm the starting tailback again, or do you think this is something that'll be a slow process that'll earn his way back?
If I'm Carlos Hyde, I'm thinking I should have walked away. That's a team rule. Walk away. I should have walked away. And he understands that, in my opinion, what the rules of the game are. If you screw up and you are replaced and the guy in front of you is lighting it up, the coach owes it to the team not to replace him. So if Jordan Hall is lighting it up, why am I going to take Jordan Hall out of the game? Or what if Dunn is lighting it up? Or all of a sudden a kid from DeSales, Warren Ball, starts feeling it. And he gets hot. As a coach, you owe it to the team to play the hot player at that position. Now, that being said, I believe this team is a better football team when Carlos Hyde is on the football team because I think he can be a dominant running back and help this team, especially inside running. So, but if the other guys pick it up, hey, you had an opportunity, man. This is Ohio State. If you make a mistake off the field and you have trouble getting back on the field, that's not our problem. That's your problem. Our problem is to play the best players available, and if Hall, Dunn, or Ball are those guys, then we're going to get them to football and let them ride. All
right, we've just scratched the surface. Spielman on Sports. When we come back after the break, we'll hit on the likelihood of backing up an undefeated season with another. We'll do it next. Anthony Rothman, Chris Spielman, Spielman on Sports, 97.1 The Fan.